So, my father, he was a DJ for about 30 something years. And growing up in the household with him, I had, this is back before Apple Music, Spotify, where you can get music on your phone, anywhere you want it. Back then, when you were a DJ, you were getting music from, my dad used to get a CD in the mail, right? It's called DJ Promo. He used to get the newest songs before everybody because he was a part of like all these DJ pools and all this good stuff. So growing up, he used to like download them onto his, whatever, Windows 95 computer, his whole turntable setup, and he'd give me the CDs. So I'm like 9, whatever, the year 10, 11 years old. Growing up, I got all the latest music. And I'm from Reynoldsburg, Ohio, so I grew up not in the best, neighborhood, whatever it is. I'm listening to cuss words, all that good stuff growing up. And I don't know, dude, hip hop just came into my life like really early. And I saw it and like I always wanted to do it, but I also really enjoyed pop style music, like the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. Those are dudes that I loved, but I also had, the hip hop background. I loved hip hop music and I loved pop style music. And I think like my entire life, like I always wanted to do it. I think this is the first time I started making music, or any type of music, was 6th grade. I was the back of the bus freestyling with my friends. And I was the only one that ever had the confidence to do it. So I'm freestyling all the time. And I used to like write them down like little raps, since I never took it really anything, serious. But I'd say I always had the mentality that I always wanted to be like this superstar musician guy. I always knew I had like the look, the image, and everybody always used to call me growing up. It started with Aaron Carter, then it went to Justin Bieber, or whatever it was. They always said like, I look like one of these little pop star kids. But me, I could rap more than I could sing, so I started rapping. And that started probably when I was like 19, when I started like actually pursuing like any type of recording music. And I started off with a microphone that my dad gave me. It was a $100 mic, and it was in my room. I had a MacBook, and I was just recording songs in my room. And they were horrible. You know what I'm saying? They're horrible. This is me, just trying to figure out how the whole process works of being an artist. My dad was a DJ. He couldn't guide me on, being a recording artist. But he put it in my head, like all the music and the inspirations and all that good stuff. So that's where I started. I'm making music in my room, and, it was really just a hobby. It really was just a hobby. Like I just enjoyed making music, and I thought it was fun. And then I started posting. This is when SoundCloud came out. So I'm posting music on SoundCloud, and this is not mastered music. It's just raw recordings in my room on my GarageBand. And that started gaining like attention of people. They're like, oh, Toran wants to be a rapper now. Like they're thinking it's a big joke. And my best friend, actually I considered a brother because I grew up in Florida. I moved away from Ohio when I was 12, actually taken away from my dad. But we spoke on the phone a lot and all that type of stuff. I'd visit. So my friends were really close to me. So this is my best friend that I considered a brother. He used to tell me like, yo, you got it, dude. Like, I can see it. Like, I see it, the look, everything. Like, you need to do this type of thing. And, like, that's when we started taking it serious. And he died. My brother, he passed away. He got into a car accident, and it was, like, it completely wrecked my whole world. I was in school at the time. And, yeah, like, it completely did, like, a 180 for me. I'm in school going to business marketing major or something like that. I went into, like, a depression. And, music was like the only exit that I had. Like it was our thing. Like I used to send him the songs more than anything before I even posted them. He's like, that's it. Like he would bump my unmastered music, all this crazy stuff. And I just shifted a gear. Like I got really motivated with music when he passed away, and I started doing it for him. I started like posting like motivational stuff. Like my music transformed. I started like doing it all the time. Practice, makes perfect. And this is me in my room at the time. And then all of a sudden, one of my buddies calls me up. His name's Jared Burns. He was in an actual hip hop group out of Jacksonville, Good Company. And I praised those guys, these local guys. I thought they were so cool. I wanted to be like them. And he's like, yo, you're ready. He hits me with a message on Facebook. the day he passed away, like after it was all announced, he said, yo, he said, go time. So I'm like, all right, let's go. We're like, what are we doing? He calls me up. He's like, yo, come to the studio, the real recording studio where they professionally mix and master and have like engineers and all that. And I had never been before, but he knew that I was really passionate about music and all the dedication I was putting into my music and stuff like that. So that's how that started. That's how I got into music and all that type of stuff. I would say right out the gate with all that type of stuff. So that's where I would say that question ends. That's where I landed. So the process of how I got to where I am right now, like I said on that last question, I landed in the professional studio when somebody invited me after they saw my intuition and like all that stuff. Somebody's like, that is a little bit higher than me. He's like, yo, come do this. So I go there, and it was actually a song with him, and that was the first song we ever did. It was a cover of what was it? It was called Throw It Back, and I think it was like Chris Brown and B.O.B. or something, some instrumental. We just covered the song. And that was the first professional recording that I ever did, right? You gotta think, like, I'm coming from GarageBand in my room, not knowing a thing about anything. I'm just recording stuff and getting used to like how to record music, I didn't even know what an ad-lib was. Like there's so many like terms with music that I didn't have the education. So I get to the studio and the engineer's in there, and my engineer, his name's Paul Lipinski. He's worked with Alicia Keys. I mean, I could name French Montana. There's just so many people's music that he masters. He knows, he's the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Jacksonville is, it's one city, but they have people sending him stuff from LA, all this stuff, because his reputation is so high. I think I work with one of the best engineers in the world. He makes, the stuff that we make together is insane. So I'm in there with him, and that's when I figured out that the music that I was making is not how people sound, like when you listen to the radio. There's so many things. Like you hear Justin Bieber on the radio, you hear him singing it raw. Obviously, Justin Bieber sounds really great, but when he goes, it's a masterpiece. So I was able to like transform, like when I got into the professional studio for the first time, I was like, oh my God, I sound like really good when you get like this clean mixed master thing. So that's what happened. I learned that I actually sound amazing in a professional studio. And that just became a process. It was a contact that I made. He introduced me to the engineer, and that's how I started. And then I started going by myself. Started going to the studio all the time. I was obsessed with it. I was not paying I dropped out of school, you know what I'm saying, because I fell in love with the music, and I wanted to go hard for like something that I really had a passion for. And I wanted to do that for, me and my best friend. That was our dream. We used to talk about, blowing up and saving our families, and I could go on for hours about the conversations we used to have, but like he was like my big brother, biggest inspiration, and biggest believer. So I took that and like I took it as motivation, when he passed away. But when I got to that level of doing all these songs all the time, I got really good at it. Like I just got really good at it. And I was like, this is the only thing that I'm good at. This is literally the only thing that I know how to do. The best thing that I know how to do is write songs. I'm really good at writing music. I'm really good at it. I think it might be my strongest suit. I can't sing like, the greatest singer in the world. I can't rap like the best rapper in the world, but I understand structure and how to write music so well. And I started doing that and rapping it and singing it. And I just leveled up after so many years. I think 2013 or whatever year it was is when I first started recording in the professional studio. And just the progress. I could show you a song that from then to now. I really just leveled up, and I started learning how to sing and make songs. And I was cussing at first, and now I'm not making a lot of songs with any cuss words. I really wanted to like be the radio guy. I wanted to be the Justin Bieber of that status. I didn't want to be the guy that blew up on one song and was done with. I wanted to stick around, and I'm still trying to reach that goal. But I have established myself to where I feel like I have already made it. I feel like I have already done what I needed to do. It's not about money and, all that stuff. Obviously, those things are awesome. But I have genuine fans. I have people that come to my shows now that sing the songs at my shows. That's the best feeling in the world. Having like 100 people or whatever it is, a couple hundred people singing your words, it's so awesome. But I feel like I've already made it. I accomplished it. I've been on the radio. I've opened up for, T-Pain, all these famous people, and hundreds of thousands of streams, getting paid for music, and people asking me for to be on their songs with them. I have like that sense of accomplishment. And that is where the come up right there, like that's what it was. Like I was at this nothingness of just everybody thinking, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. Whatever you do, you dedicate your time to it and you get good eventually. And everybody temporary thoughts, like people want to judge people all the time. So if I started playing, whatever it is, and I wasn't very good at it for the first year, I guarantee you, if I'm doing it every day, which was writing music and, studying, the whole music industry, of course I'm not going to be good at it at first. But after years have gone by, it's like, guess what? I've done all these things now, and it's like respect, and I really feel like I did what I needed to do. So now it's just kind of like, okay, let's see how far we can take it. But there's a lot of things that I would want to accomplish in the music industry alone from being an artist. I'm still getting, my journey's not over. But I would say that was the come up. Really was this just the production value, because I was doing it in my room, didn't have any sense of, guidance in what I was doing, and that's where it switched. When I figured out how to make my music sound a lot better, and then the practice and the timing. So that's where we're at now with that. I'd be like, and listen, mama, you my idol. Honestly, I'm grateful that we moved up out Ohio. You taught me how to be myself, taught me about survival. Like something like that, you know what I'm saying? I really dive into like things that I care about these days. Like I'm writing about my relationships and stuff like that. And that's what I wasn't doing at first. Don't get me wrong. Like I like to make hype music all the time. You know what I'm saying? People listen to hype music mostly, but as an artist, it's my job. I think it's most artists' like job I'm inspiring people. I mean, if I showed you my Instagram DMs or whatever, DM, Facebook, I have these younger kids and just even anybody saying, yo, your song gets me through the day. And I wish I could, be like you. And like, it makes me feel really good that I have that opportunity to respond to them. And these people are responding that way to the songs that I'm putting my heart into and my experiences. So that's what I leveled up on that. I learned that that's important, to tell your honest self, to be vulnerable, because sure, making the turn up music is like a necessity in like this day and age, 2020, like everybody loves the lit stuff. I love making it. It's so much fun. But it's my job as an artist to really give my point of view on my life, because people want to know who I am. And I think that's where we're at right now is, trying to tell the story, because there's a lot to me that a lot of people don't know. They just see this guy. A lot of people be like, oh, that's Toran Crush. He's a rapper, wants to be a rapper, or whatever, artist or whatever it is. I think if a lot of people actually knew like how I came up and who I actually was and listened to like the music and actually like were able to take it in, their opinion about me would change. Like a lot of people, when they see somebody trying to be something great, they automatically want to jump to this, judgment or, peace of mind about someone that like, who cares about, what I'm saying? Until I have something some crazy validation to where they can support me. It's crazy. And I can see the difference in so many people. I know the people that are listening and the people that are messaging me, and then I know the people that they'll know who I am. But when I see them out in public, they don't show me some sort of respect, I have a lot of people that come up to me and they, that's what they talk about when they talk to me. They say, hey, what's up with the music? And, that's what they have to talk about, because I am Toran Crush. I have established that. My last name doesn't exist on the internet anymore. Nobody knows my real last name because I abolished it. I'm Toran Crush. But the real me, that's what they need to get to know, and that's what I want them to know. And any of my friends, they'll tell you, they talk about me, they'll tell you I'm one of the nicest people. And, whatever, a little cocky every now and then. That's because it's my confidence. I'm carrying myself to, I have to carry myself that way, because if you're not confident in who you are and who you want to be, you're not going to get anywhere. Like, that's just how this works. You have to be confident. You can get lucky with, whatever mentality, I guess, but it's very important to make yourself have a presence in the room and however you're, promoting or marketing, whatever you're doing, whatever it is, whatever business, it doesn't have to be, music or trying to be famous or anything. If you're trying to be a lawyer, you're trying to find a way to make clients. You're trying to put billboards up, there's obviously certain jobs that don't require certain marketings and stuff like that, but in this line of work, obviously it's a necessity. So, but if people got to know me and listen to the music. That's what I want. That's what I actually care about the most these days, is people respecting my music for actually, the great things that I'm saying, the most important things that I'm saying. And I'm starting to notice that those songs are the ones that people are listening to more. So.